Good evening. A lot of people are saying that there's been an excessive focus on Ramadan and Eid this year. Let's just look at the religious demographics of Britain. As of 2021, 46.2% of the population is Christian, 37.2% say they have no religion, and 6.5% say they're Muslim. People have noticed that during Ramadan, the king gave a special message to the Muslim community.
The Quran says, God does not burden any soul with more than it can bear. We hope that you have a blessed and fulfilling Ramadan. Peace be upon you all. Ramadan Mubarak.
He also opened up Windsor Castle for a very special iftar. Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosted the first ever Ramadan iftar event in Parliament.
It is absolutely fantastic to be with you as people gather in homes, in mosques and communities around the country during this special season. Come together in charity and service and welcome people of all faiths and none for an iftar.
It's fair to say that that didn't go down that well with all Muslims. The editor of Britain's largest Muslim news site, 5 Pillars, Roshan Saleh, tweeted, "Shame on all Muslims who attended this iftar with genocide enabler Keir Starmer. How can any believing and practising Muslim break bread with a man who is complicit in the deaths of our Palestinian brethren?" We've obviously had the Ramadan lights on Oxford Street.
3, 2, 1! Happy Ramadan! Assalamu alaikum!
Then yesterday it was Mother's Day, and it was also Eid, which was emphatically noted by the British Army. They wished their Muslim personnel a happy Eid. Now, some people, perhaps unfairly, pointed out that as of 2015, more British Muslim men had joined ISIS and the Nusra Front than joined the British Army. The Football Association, they went big for Eid as well. There was also the royal family, again, wishing everyone a very happy Eid. So the royal family have kind of doubled up there. And so did the First Minister of Scotland.
I'm proud to be First Minister of a diverse nation, one made all the richer by our faith and belief communities. So as Muslims prepare to celebrate in Scotland and across the world, I want to take the opportunity to wish you all, on behalf of the Scottish Government, a happy and blessed Eid.
Now, I might have missed this, but he did not appear to say anything about Mother's Day. Unlike, to be fair, the British Army, the Royal Family, the FA, who all did do Mother's Day posts. I appreciate, by the way, before people jump down my throat here, Mother's Day is not a religious festival. But anyway, the BBC decided to go really big on Eid today. They took Eid live from Bradford on BBC One from 10:50 to 11:30.
BBC will be broadcasting the Eid al-Fitr prayers live for the first time ever from Bradford Mosque. We sent our Bradford New Voices Humaira Balm along to see the preparations.
Eid al-Fitr is a celebration that comes at the end of the month of Ramadan, and it's known as breaking of the fast. And this year, the Bradford Central Mosque are hosting something really special, and I'm here to find out more about it.
Now, I don't know about you, but I'd like us to stop being told that we are a racist, Islamophobic country. We're not, are we? We're obviously not. I mean, I also think that, in light of the fact that we've gone so big for Eid and Ramadan, we shouldn't bother toning down Easter or Christmas in case we might cause offence to non-Christians. One school was accused of cancelling an Easter ceremony for the sake of diversity and inclusion. The London School of Economics removed the Lent and Easter terms, seemingly to de-Christian them. Christmas markets have been renamed things like winter come-togethers. A survey of festive cards sent out by local authorities across Britain found that only 1 out of 182 mentioned the birth of Christ. Why is it that so many politicians, institutions and organisations are tripping over themselves to show that they are tolerant and lovely when it comes to the Muslim community, but they shy away from Christian festivals. Now, I'm just going to throw you over now to a clip from, this lady who was talking to the left-wing news outlet, Joe.
Politicians doing everything is doing. I think there is a big responsibility of the Muslim community in that, because we have tried to change the British. It is totally different now. It's nothing like Britain before. You know, it's everybody's like doing their own thing and they want to adapt everything. So this country's own culture has disappeared.
Well, it's interesting what she has to say there. Does she have a point? Let's get the thoughts of my panel this evening. We've got Daily Express columnist Carol Malone. We have got former chairman of the Tory party, Sir Jake Berry, and the ex-Labour Party advisor, Matthew Larser. Carol, look, I'll just emphasise again for the hard of hearing that, I'm not particularly bothered by the fact that everyone seems to be wishing people a happy Eid and a happy Ramadan. Well, what I do wonder is why then are we called a racist country, and why do we not talk about Christmas in case it offends non-Christians?
Like you, I'm very happy for all religions to celebrate their sacred days. I think it's a good thing. And I'm not upset. A lot of people are across at Prince Charles and saying what he did in holding this iftar ceremony in Windsor Castle, first time a monarch's ever done it. They're saying this is evidence of the Islamification of Britain. I don't believe that at all. Charles has always been supporters of many faiths in this country for decades. And I think it's good that he continues that. However, I get really hacked off that Christians aren't allowed to celebrate their sacred days and their sacred celebrations in the way this very minority religion appears to be. I'm very happy that they've done what they've done. It's great. But it really hacks me off that school you mentioned, the cancelled Easter, so as not to offend. That same school in Eastleigh, that also celebrated Eid, it celebrated Diwali, but yet it cancelled Easter.
They've got a Refugees Welcome Week, I think, as well.
Well, of course they have, with nothing to do with Christianity at all. But, Christianity is still the biggest religion in this country, and yet we are constantly apologising for it, constantly hiding its sacred days, its celebrations, so as not to offend people. Why would Christianity offend somebody? And do you know what I think is the thing? We've seen over the weekend the BBC they've broadcast a ceremony from a mosque and whatever. I wonder how the leaders of other faiths would feel about sharing their days with the Christian faith, because I'm not sure that they all want inclusivity the way we're told it all has to be.
Jake, I'll get your views on this. I mean, again, for me, I saw that tidal wave that we've had of Happy Ramadan and Happy Eid from a variety of different massive institutions and big figures and big corporations in Britain. And I thought, how on earth can people seriously suggest that we're a racist, Islamophobic country when Windsor Castle's been open for an iftar, Parliament has been open for an iftar, the King's wishing everyone a happy Eid and a happy Ramadan? I mean, should we just park this idea that we are Islamophobic?
Well, I mean, it's complete and utter nonsense. And I think, there's a sliding scale here. So first of all, the King has done absolutely the right thing. He is not just our King, he's King of 13 other nations, which all have most of them have a Muslim population. But also he's the head of the Commonwealth. And we often forget that the Commonwealth has
He's also
more Muslims living in
England, and he didn't say much about Lent.
Well, let me come on to that. But he's the head of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth has more Muslims living in it than the whole of Arabia. It has Pakistan, Bangladesh, Gambia, Malaysia, all of these majority Muslim countries. So he's fulfilling one of his roles of our head of state by wishing Eid Mubarak. He is also, Carol says we're a Christian country. We are. We're officially a Christian country. He is the head of our established church.
Do you think he's strong enough about that?
No, I think he is really strong. I think the King is really strong. And let's not forget also in Britain, we have a bank holiday for Good Friday, we have a bank holiday for Easter Monday, we do have real celebration of our Christian faith. So I think the King's done something absolutely right. On the other end of the scale, you have the BBC, which, in my view, is excessively virtue signalling by saying, we must sort of wrap ourselves in Eid because it makes us a more tolerant organisation. That's not true.
Clearly.
Actually, people of all faiths, whether they're Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, Jewish, like living in a country where all faith is respected. And the BBC doesn't really understand that by focusing so heavily down on one faith.
Yeah, so there was a live broadcast of an Eid ceremony at a mosque in Bradford, I believe it was, for the first time ever on the BBC. We've had a lot of firsts this year, Matthew, when it comes to it. So it's the first time Windsor Castle was opened up for an iftar. It's the first time we've had an iftar like that in the House of Commons, so I'm led to believe. It's the first time the BBC has done that particular Eid ceremony live broadcast. What's going on there, do you think?
So, I mean, look, I think the problem with this is you get a little bit like Oscars acceptance speeches when people, read out all their thank yous. And why do they have to give out such a long list? They go on forever and make it incredibly boring because they don't want to miss anybody out. And so the problem is you have a little bit of this. When I worked at the Labour, you had to have a massive wall chart, so you can't forget anybody's. You have to do a video message for everybody.
But everybody's didn't do a Mother's Day post on Twitter.
Yeah, and that's the problem is, I think the problem is that's exactly it. Oh my God, we've forgotten this. Somebody didn't put the Mother's Day thing on. I think what you should do is, obviously this is a predominantly Christian country, you should recognise the major Christian festivals are the sort of major festivals of the nation, and they're what our school terms
you
are.
would accept, wouldn't you, Matthew, that they're being subjugated now. They're being hidden, and the aspects of those celebrations are being hidden so as not to offend other faiths. And I don't think it's the people from the other faiths that are.
No, it's not. No, absolutely.
I think it's people in power and positions of power who are acting on their
they're desperate.
and
So
getting it wrong.
look at Scotland. So we just looked at the figures in Scotland, and and Scotland has about a 1% Muslim population. It has about a 0.8% Chinese population. I was trying to make sure, has the First Minister missed off the lunar, what we used to call the Chinese New Year? Some of it's happened some years, it hasn't happened other years, and that's the problem. Is if you start doing one, you've got to do everybody.
It's not a case of missing off. This has been blanket coverage this year, and it'll be very interesting to see if the BBC covers Easter in the same way it has covered Ramadan.
I expect they might do. I mean, the BBC, loathed as I am to ever go into bat for them, I mean, I think there is a case to say that there was a huge amount of virtue signalling that took place today over Eid. They will say and point to the fact they do shows like Songs of Praise, for example, and they will point to the fact that maybe they will be doing some live Easter.
Well, they actually recorded the Easter Songs of Praise around the corner at the Catholic Cathedral.
I'm sure they will be.
From my house.
Theologically, in the Christian faith, I say this as a Christian myself, Easter is our most important festival.
Yes.
But in reality, in Great Britain, it's Christmas because everyone celebrates Christmas. Even people who have a very vague relationship with Christianity will celebrate Christmas. And I don't think anyone could look at the coverage around Christmas with 9 lessons and carols, all of the hype we see around Christmas.
GB News that really did Christmas well last year. We had the messages on from the vicars all around the country. We're the ones who really did that. For a lot of people, and even commercially, when you go shopping, again on Oxford Street, which has literally got, bang, happy Ramadan. Now, you'll have Christmas lights, fine, but a lot of the big stores there very often have things like happy winter period, happy festive season.
Happy holidays.
There seems to be
Americans have happy holidays because the Americans call everything happy holidays.
There's a reluctance to say things like happy Christmas. Now, I'm not saying let's have less Ramadan and Eid. No. What I am saying is let's have more of the Christian stuff as well, surely.
Well, I don't disagree with you. And I think these large institutions, the BBC, some of the large corporations we've seen out today, they are fearful. They are fearful of offending people who wouldn't be offended at all if a large institution came out and said, we wish everyone happy Christmas. Can I go back to my earlier point? People of faith love living in a country that respects all faiths. Yeah. And frankly, if we respect Christianity, as a Muslim person, if you live in Britain, that will make you say, good, they respect their established faith of Christianity in the UK. That means they will respect and protect my right to be a free Muslim in Britain.
That school last week, Norwood, the school that banned Easter, I looked at some of the emails from parents to that school, and there were emails from Hindus and Sikhs saying, what are you doing this for? We love it.
Absolutely.
They love the colourfulness of it. They love the fun of it. Their kids love. This was an.
No, it's white atheists who are the most embarrassed. Look, I think the message for politicians and public figures is make sure that your messages are appropriate. Yes, it's fine to thank people, but let's just just, you know, let's just tone down the need to tick every box every week of the year.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Well, look, hey, let us know what you think about all of that as well. I mean, it's probably not helped by the idea that there's been huge amounts of issues around two-tier justice. We've had things from the Sentencing Council, which we're going to go on and discuss, which make it seem like you can be punished for being white British, all of that stuff. So it does come off the back of all of that. But anyway.